Intimidation seems to be trending in D.C. right now. Former Ukrainian ambassador Marie Yovanovitch, thank you, testified that she felt repeatedly threatened by the White House. There are allegations that the Justice Department tried to force the anonymous author of an anti-Trump book to reveal their identity. And here's what Senator...
I hate him.
Rand Paul as said at one of you-know-who's rallies the other night. Take a look.
The whistleblower needs to come before Congress as a material witness because he worked for Joe Biden at the same time Hunter Biden was getting money from corrupt oligarchs. I say tonight to the media, do your job and print his name.
He sounds so crazy. Why does he sound so crazy?
Because he's forgotten the rule of law.
Well, can I say, I was watching this last night in bed.
It's against the law to reveal the whistleblower's identity. And now he's telling the media to break the law. Why don't you break the law and then you go to jail, Rand?
Yeah. I'm not mad at that.
I am mad at that.
Well, can I say one thing? I was watching this in bed last night, and I started, if anyone follows me on Instagram, which, whatever, but there was like 6 people. I literally got on my Instagram live because I was laughing so hard at the Read the Transcripts t-shirt because it's brilliant marketing. Look,
you did send me that.
Read the transcript. Read the transcript. But it's like brilliant marketing on Trump's part because he's like, it's much like Make America Great Again. It's really simple. It's really accessible. He's got a bunch of people clapping, and they're like, yeah, read the transcript.
But none of them have read it.
I know.
And it's not a transcript, it's a memo.
I'm just saying, I laughed really hard because I was like, oh, we're done now. Just read the transcript.
No, you're right, but he is brilliant at writing these things.
It's a summary, it's a memo, it's not a transcript, it's not verbatim.
Yeah,
no one's read it
You know
anyway.
what's really bothering me about all of this is that had Nixon tried to do this to anyone, we'd have had him out. Said, no, that's not how the law works. The Constitution doesn't work that. That's not how the law works.
Well, you had
we have all of these
Republicans.
we had ethical, all kinds of ethics, but for me, when I see that the Department of Justice is no longer, doesn't feel neutral, they're not looking to see if it's true. They're just saying, well, you know, it's done. That makes me uncomfortable.
You mean like
it should make every American uncomfortable.
Well,
I
can just start with me.
Yeah.
Made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, I'm so disgusted because, you know, if Rand Paul were doing this to a witness and saying this about a witness that I had on one of my cases, I would send an FBI agent to his house and I would have him brought in. Because that's witness intimidation, punishable by up to 20 years in prison.
It's the law.
I would have him brought in.
You're not allowed to do that.
Yes, this person is a whistleblower. He's intimidating that witness and he's encouraging people to break the law. How dare he? He's a sitting senator.
He's covered.
He knows
Wait
better.
a second. He's covered by the president, who also does witness tampering and breaks the law and gets away with it.
Be careful.
And William Barr, the Attorney General.
Yeah, Whoopi's right. It's coming from the Department of Justice.
There's no law in the country anymore.
Disgusting.
No, that's not so. There is
not at
law.
that level.
There is still law. Listen, we have not...
Read the transcript.
The memo.
If I don't go for jury, if any of us, except for me,
I'll never get old. I'm going to beat that horse till it dies for the rest of the election cycle.
At this point,
Read
at
the
my age,
transcript.
I'm too old to do jury duty. Yes, those people out there, you don't have to do it after a certain age.
Really?
Look it up. But
put you on the jury.
if any of you ladies said, I don't want to do jury duty, they would come and haul your butt into jail somewhere. And these people get away with murder. And yet they're not hauling anybody in. It's outrageous.
Well, you know what? My hat's off to Yovanovitch, and that's what we started the segment on. She was the ambassador to Ukraine, right? She testified yesterday, and she said she felt, quote, threatened.
Yes.
Because if you remember, if you actually read the transcript, you would see that the president said to the Ukrainian president that she's bad news and that she's going to go through some things. Imagine being in her seat.
And what did Sondland say?
And reading that when you're already home. And then Sondland, apparently, because they were threatening her and they were saying that, like, you're not doing your job and talking bad about her. And Sondland, who was the head of the EU, who was working with Trump, said if you really want to save your job, essentially, then than make the president look good. Tweet something nice about the president. So hats off to her because
Tweet
she's there
something nice.
Tweet
testifying.
something
She's
nice.
testified, and other people have.
What, like I like
better
your hair?
patriots.
What are you going to say?
I know. It's so.
You're so hot.
But
What?
there are ambassadors that
It's
like
absurd.
a lot of. I mean, there's one in
Oh,
particular.
sorry, she didn't testify yesterday. Her transcript of her testimony.
it was released.
But Whoopi and I were talking the commercial break. When you threaten people and when you degrade people's character, what the president continues to do, you are afraid of something. You know that you've done something wrong. That's all you need to know. He's insecure about it.
I will say, even though, like, I haven't been, like, threatened by the president, but I've certainly been at, this is serious, Joy, I've certainly been at, like, the edge. Like, when I worked at Fox, he asked for me to get fired. He tweeted for me to get fired that I was so terrible.
Who did?
Like, the president. Like, he's many times, obviously, when President Trump says something about you and zeroes you out, it is very scary.
Yeah,
and I know from experience, it is very intense. His supporters come out just like heaves of zombie apocalyptic people coming to get you, and it's very, very
But they're
scary. So I
not
can't
all of
imagine
America.
being
They're
an ambassador in this
the
situation.
great thing.
Yes.
Thug's behavior.
It's very scary.
It is
And I'm not
the
easily
behavior that, you know, that is not okay. There are laws against it.
Of course.
And as long as we can sit and continue to talk and say the stuff that we say and be the people that we are, regardless of where we're coming from, there is still law.
And the White House
when
can't
we
actually
disappear,
get commentators
that's
fired.
right. When we disappear, start running.
Well, that'll be kidnapping.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Read the transcript.